Times have been tough for so many people this year, and we have Thanksgiving coming up. And today we're going to talk about some of the things that I served and some of the things I did to get through November when I had one child at home and my budget was $35 a week for three of us. We also are trying to save money this November. So I hope some of these tips help you today. When I grew up, I didn't know that we didn't have a lot of money. In fact, it was kept from children at that time. Children didn't know about their parents' finances like they do a lot of times today. And many of the things that I grew up with at holidays, I realized when I got to be an adult that it was because we didn't have a lot of money. And they are some of the things that I fell back on when I had a very small family and an extremely small budget. We want our holidays to feel festive, and there's so many things to look forward to besides things we spend money on. We can look forward to spending time with family, having some time off from work, and maybe just relaxing and putting up our Christmas tree and enjoying the lights in our living room. Many times, a lot of these moments that we capture during those times, they're the things that everyone remembers, not everything else that we think is so important. And I know turkeys have now come down in price, but at the time, a chicken was less expensive, and no one knew the difference, or rather, no one cared to know the difference. We had what we needed, and it seemed like Thanksgiving with the sides. And the sides are ones that I had growing up, and I fell back on those recipes as an adult because I realized that they were where the money really got tied up in the meal. And many of those are in my two Depression era cookbooks, but I'm going to talk about them today. And those links are in the description box, and they are also listed on Amazon if it's something you're interested in. But we grew up with carrot salad. It was carrots that we shredded. We put it in orange jello with canned pineapple. Some people may have never heard of the salad and may think, wow, that doesn't sound like it goes together. I still have two sons that love that salad. And it was the salad that my dad spent all day shredding his carrots to bring with him when I was an adult with kids to our holiday meals. And that's why they remember it. Another one that I would make would just be cubed up apples in whipped cream with some marshmallows. It was very cheap. The kids all loved it. It seemed like a dessert. And if I wanted to get really fancy, I would slice up some bananas in there. Some of these things that are just so easy and inexpensive can still make our holiday meal special. If we create some of these memories with our kids, like my parents did with me, then the kids never know the difference. It just becomes part of your holiday and something that you remember fondly. But when we are so frantic trying to come up with all of the special sides that cost so much money, it can really cause a lot of stress on us as the host or as the parents, and that stress, everyone can feel it. So I encourage you this year to look at some things that are affordable but still special. And I promise you, no one will know or care to know the difference. Many of us struggle to get through November knowing this very costly meal is coming up. And that is something we are doing this November is we are pantry cooking. We are cooking from the freezer, from the pantry, from the refrigerator, and we're trying to save money because knowing that that meal is coming up and knowing that that is a big part of your planning on your food purchases, using these things can really help. So I had some packets of salmon and I showed you these in a video a long time ago. I bought them in a dollar section back when they were $1.25 a package at this grocery store. They have since shrunk their dollar section big time, and a lot of things are no longer available, including these salmon packets. But I still had them. They were a teeny bit expired, but they were just fine. And we are not going to waste anything in this house that we have paid for that is still good. So I'm going to share my husband's salmon patty recipe. These salmon packets are 3 ounce and they need to be used up. I bought them on sale and they're a little bit expired. So we're going to use them up today because we don't want to waste any money in this house. So we're going to add a couple of eggs. My husband likes lemon pepper and Dijon mustard in it. And I've tried several different recipes, and honestly, this one has the best flavor and it is his favorite. I also have some frozen gluten-free breadcrumbs that I saved up in a little jar, and we're going to mix those in. And then we're just going to form patties and fry these really well until they're browned the way we like them on both sides. And then I also made some homemade gluten-free bread in the bread maker, and I will link that video at the end. Many of you are already frugal that watch this channel, but in case you're new to the channel and you haven't heard my spiel on best by and use by dates, I just want to point out that the FDA put these dates on foods at the consumer's request. This wasn't something that was ever done, and then it started being done. And then the manufacturers didn't want to guarantee food forever that could break their bank. So they put dates on there that they were willing to replace or refund money towards that product. And that way their liability wouldn't go on forever. So the FDA has been on a mission over the last several years to encourage people to use their senses, to smell, to taste, to look at the product to see if it looks funny, to check the cans to make sure they're not leaking or bulging, and use our common sense when using food. We don't waste food in this house. I have used things that were really old and they were still absolutely fine. So if we're canning things at home the old-fashioned way, we know those things last forever. My gosh, my mom made jams and jellies and canned tomatoes and pears and all kinds of things, and they lasted for years on end. It's no different when we buy them at the store. So before you toss it, check it and see if it's still good, because we paid good money for that. Now, someone had asked me to share the stir fry recipe that I talked about in one of the last videos. I bought some shredded cabbage on sale and I used that with ground pork. We use a lot of ground pork in this household. It's a lot cheaper. We use it in chili, we use it in spaghetti, we use it in our stir fries. And I just add onion powder or fresh onion. Remember, recipes are a suggestion. And I use garlic or garlic powder. It depends on what I have. I use gluten-free soy sauce or liquid aminos because my husband is gluten-free, and I put that on at the end to season to taste. But all I do is fry up that ground pork, fry up that cabbage, and then add those two seasonings and the soy sauce of your choice at the end. It's called egg roll in a bowl. It is kind of a skillet stir fry that is super affordable, especially when you can catch the cabbage on sale like I did. And It is delicious. He loves to take it for his lunches. Sometimes I think we think too hard actually at how we can do some things. And sometimes I think the answer is just as easy as using what we have and doing some things for ourselves. I stopped by my oldest daughter's house this week. She showed me a centerpiece decoration. She made her own candles. The base was broken. She repaired that with some glue. She added some flowers she had and made this gorgeous centerpiece for the fall. When I got there, she was on a huge ladder painting her house. She had painting tape strung everywhere. And I have to tell you, this daughter has a really good job and she does everything she can for herself. She also gave me some tomatoes that she grew. Her entire bar area in her kitchen was covered in the tomatoes that she grew. I couldn't have been more proud that she picked up some of these things from her childhood to be able to help herself as an adult. So sometimes when we are thinking that things have to be perfect and we have to spend the money and look like we have the money to be able to either impress ourselves or impress others during this holiday season, I think we put too much pressure on ourselves. So much of this can actually be done inexpensively. She used paint she already had on hand, and we can do things like this to freshen up our house, to make meals stretch, to do some things that we're able to do on our own. And it will look like it was professionally done a lot of the times. The more we do it, the better we get at it, hopefully. And so we can save money this way. I hope that this video is helping inspire you and maybe giving you some hope that this holiday season can be what you make of it. It's what we hold in our heart that makes this holiday so special. I have had lots of holidays where we had soups and crock pots, or we made something that was totally not traditional. And guess what? It was just fine. Everybody enjoyed the holiday. They enjoyed each other. Maybe I added a few special desserts to that. Holidays don't always have to be traditional food if we can't afford that. And it can still be special. And we can try something new. And we can come away from that holiday without being in debt and feeling like we had one of the most special holidays that we can remember. Now, sometimes when you get to be the age that I am, doing some of those non-traditional things at the holidays can be as simple as not necessarily trying to save money, but just trying to make less work for ourselves. It's hard for me to be on my feet a long period of time. It's hard for me to cook and chop and do a lot of the things that I used to do. Even rolling out homemade noodles is difficult for me because I have arthritis. So sometimes switching to maybe some non-traditional holidays, they're okay. People understand. They want to see you, and you can still have some great food and maybe just change up what you've always done. Sometimes your family has even been to more than one Thanksgiving or more than one holiday. I've heard this from my kids before. They've gone to their in laws or they've gone to maybe two different parents that have divorced, and everybody's doing the same traditional meal. And by the time they get to my house, they may have already had turkey and ham two or three times before. And they are really happy that I did something non traditional because they're already tired of having the same food because everybody's doing the traditional thing. So there can be lots of reasons to stray away from doing what is traditional or doing what you can afford or doing what you are able to do so that you can still enjoy your holiday. A great example is I'm going to my middle son's for Thanksgiving, and there's only going to be 3 of us, him, his wife, and me. And because of that, making a huge traditional meal would just be kind of silly. So he's going to make homemade soup in homemade bread bowls, and we're gonna bring some special desserts. I'm really looking forward to this. It sounds fabulous. I love homemade soup and homemade bread bowls. That is right up my alley. So don't be afraid to stray away from what is difficult or what is expensive this holiday season if you really feel like you need to do something else. If you've been watching my videos through November, they have all had relatively the same theme, saving money through November. And I hope that it has given you some creative ideas of how you can make your money stretch through November. December is probably our most expensive month, and it's no different in my house. It is usually the most expensive. So I am hunkering down here in November to save money. And I hope that I have inspired some of you out there to do the same if that is what you need to do. Share in the comments below some of the things you're doing this November to save money. If you haven't watched some of the previous videos in November, I encourage you to read some of the comments. The viewers are saving money and they're giving great examples of how they're doing it this holiday season. Thanks for listening today. I hope you will join me in the next video. Give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you soon.